Hi guys, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for hanging out with me today. So today we are gonna do what I've been doing for the past few weeks, which is just me doing my makeup while I talk about Haikyuu. So I'm just gonna keep this little introduction short, sweet, and simple, and I'm gonna go ahead and just roll the rest of the video, and I hope you guys enjoy. So I'm gonna be doing what I've been usually doing for the past few videos, and that is just getting ready while I talk with you guys about this week's episode of Haikyuu. So this week's episode, episode 10, was very beautiful, man. I have been looking forward to this episode for quite a while now. Maybe like it's been 3 years, I think, since we saw all this material. Can you guys believe that? Like 3 years ago we saw all this in the manga. Like holy shit, and now it's finally here and it seems really unreal to see this episode, which this episode was focusing on Shimizu. I was so excited for this week's episode. That's why I was like going nuts when I saw the preview for this week's episode, because I knew that we were gonna get that beautiful, beautiful scene of Kiyoko animated, and the scene I'm talking about is this one in particular. I'll probably end up putting in the thumbnail. I don't know, because there's a lot of good thumbnail worthy moments, but anyway. So you guys were able to see Shimizu and like her point of view, her thoughts, and basically kind of like her journey up until now and how she's feeling about everybody being in nationals. And it's nice because we don't really get that much of a shift on Kiyoko. So basically we were kind of able to see Shimizu and her thoughts of when she used to be in track and how she basically was like, you know, I practice, and then one day it just like basically went all away. Everything that I've worked so hard for, it just stopped, and that was it. And I was like, oh man. And we basically get to see when she joins the Kurasuno volleyball team as the manager, and how she didn't really expect to be there and didn't really expect to make any sort of bonds within the group. But then I really like that she said, you know, over time these people weren't just random people, they're people I want to be around with, they're my friends and they're my teammates. And I'm just like, just hearing Shimizu say all this like really got to my heart. I was just like, damn, like you can tell just how much she has grown to love this team and appreciate them. Like they're a big part of her life now, and you can tell that she's super grateful for this whole entire experience. And it goes into where she felt the need that she wanted someone to take over and continue on doing what she was doing, right? And I love how when she's talking about this, you see like Yachi, like just her back, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like it was so beautiful. It goes to show you that she genuinely just cares for the team, she loves the team, and she's like thinking the best for the team and trying to do her part in some way. You know, she might not be in the front lines, but here's something that she can do. So that was really, really neat to see in this episode. It was just really nice overall to hear her thoughts and her overall experience so far, and just seeing like that passion now within her and being the manager and wanting to help the boys in any shape or way, form that she can, was, like I said, beautifully done. Because there is a point in this episode where she does mention how there was a time where she thought, you know, hey, if I leave, things can go back to the way they used to be, right? But she's not okay with that anymore, because this team means so much to her, just like I've said like probably a million times before in this video. But because she feels so strongly about this now and so strongly about this team and how special they are to her, she's just going above and beyond, going the extra mile, and just like she said in this episode, she's taking on the challenge. Like, I love hearing her say that. Like the minute that she says she's like, I'm taking on this challenge, and you see her like jump over, like, that part is where it had me crying. I cannot stress to you guys enough, just hearing the soundtrack, hearing her talk and like have like these emotions go through, and then just the beautiful transition you get from now to like seeing her where it was like her track days. Like it was so beautifully done. I was bawling my eyes out so hard. I think it's probably because, you know, I know what's gonna happen in the manga. 2, it's like the final arc in Haikyuu that I'm currently reading. And on top of that, just, I don't know, just seeing it animated hits so differently. And like I said, knowing what's gonna happen just makes my emotions like heightened like 10 times more, probably 1,000 times more. I don't know. So I'm just like an emotional mess, and the fact that I've waited 3 freaking years to see this moment animated and see how beautifully done it was, 10 out of 10. Personally, I'm really excited to see the anime only's reaction to this scene because it was just so, like I said, beautifully done, beautifully adapted. Just, I could not have asked for more. Like, it was so great, so beautiful. And since we're on the topic of Shimizu, I do want to say the reason why we see her running and stuff, because I don't think I even mentioned that, I just went right in, right? It's because Hinata accidentally got the wrong bag, because he ended up going to the restroom and Yamaguchi like took his eyes off for a second from the bags, and that's when the whole swap mess happened. So yeah, oh my gosh, I remember reading this in the manga, and when Hinata checks his bag and he's like, my shoes, I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. You guys are about to go like right now, and like this could not have happened at a worse time. I was just freaking out. I remember freaking out so badly in the manga, and then seeing Shimizu saying, you know, I'll go get them, and her like running off, I was like, girl, are you gonna make it in time? I hope you make it in time, because holy shit. So the bag actually was taken by a little kid, and I think it was Yachi that said this, that the bag that Hinata has is pretty popular with little kids, and he explains, you know, that's my sister's bag actually, and the reason why I took it's because it's really sturdy, it's pretty good, and you know, it fits most of my stuff in there. So I was like, oh my god, like no wonder the little kid took it. So there's probably like other little kids that have the same bag, so like it's just a simple mistake. But oh man, like it sucked in that moment. I was like, this is not happening right now. And at nationals I was like, are you kidding me? So Hinata was without shoes for a little bit, and Yamaguchi felt bad that he took off his eyes for a sec, and you know, Hinata felt bad that it got taken in the first place. So it's just, oh my gosh. You know, Hinata's kind of panicking. Everyone's trying to figure out like a solution to how they can get the shoes back, and how to contact the person that possibly has the bag. And that's when Kageyama's like, okay, where's your phone though? And Hinata's like, oh my gosh. So that's the instant that Yamaguchi calls, and they're able to get in contact with the person that has the bag. And of course they wait at the place that they were practicing before, and that's when Shimizu runs off. But before she runs off, her and Yachi have like this moment where she wants to go with Shimizu, but she's like, no, you stay here, you're needed right here. I can do this myself, and I'll be back real quick. I have a like really good stamina, I'm a good runner, so you stay here. And she's like, I know it's gonna be a little bit nerve-wracking being without me, but you're gonna have to get used to it. And when she says this, I was like, Shimizu, you did not, like, you're just like hurting me 1,000 times more. The fact that she's a third year, she's about to leave, and the fact that she like gives us this bit of a reality where she tells Yachi, hey, you know, you're gonna have to get used to me, I'm not gonna be here for much longer. And I'm like, oh, like why the reminder, why do you have to remind me? But of course Yachi like understands this, and she's like, okay, I'll stay. And of course that after that, you know, she runs off, and we get the whole thing that I was talking about earlier in this video. So yeah, that was just a nice little moment. Which anyway, thankfully Shimizu does get these shoes in time, thank god. Like the minute that she throws the shoes to Yachi and Hinata gets his shoes back, I was like, oh my gosh, because it just so happened like she was right on time, and it was just, oh, like my nerves kind of like settled down. I was just like, oh my gosh. Shimizu was the real MVP in this episode, and this moment, like if you didn't love Shimizu before, like there's no way you cannot love her now. Like, oh my gosh. Besides Shimizu, we finally dive into the first match of nationals, the first match for Kurasuno. Finally, we're getting it. We're getting what everyone's been wanting for quite a while. And we're up against Hold a sec, because I can never, I promise I came prepared trying to figure out how to pronounce it. Subakihara, there we go. There it is. Oh man, but yeah, we're diving into the match with them, and I'm really glad that we were able to see it, because I wasn't really sure that they were gonna like make this whole episode with just Kiyoko, but thankfully that wasn't the case. Like, we were able to see like a little bit of the match, and it's fantastic so far. Like, I hate to say this, hopefully none of the Haikyuu manga peeps come at me for this, but I personally don't remember much from this match. Like I said, don't come for me. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but then again, I'm like, well, it has been 3 years. It's not like I'm gonna remember like every single detail. Like, I just remember this match happening and that the boys wore headbands, and that's about it. But thankfully, as I watched the episode, when they were giving hints, like Coach Ukai and Kageyama and how he was feeling, I was like, oh, okay. Like, it was starting to come back to me little by little. And I guess to talk about Coach Ukai, because he does mention how the boys are obviously nervous because this is like their first time at nationals. But on top of that, because he's looking, I think he's looking up, I can't remember exactly. He's like, man, I sure hope the boys don't get distracted by like the lighting and the scenery and everything. Like, this is gonna be a lot to take in. It's a different setting. This is like their first time and they're not used to it. And I was just like, oh. And as soon as he said that, I remember, I feel like everything just came back to my mind when I was reading the manga, and I was just like, oh crap, I somewhat remember now what's gonna happen. But he's right, like, the boys aren't used to this type of setting. They're just so used to like their usual setting, so this is gonna be a whole new thing. And the coach for Subarekihara does mention, you know, whoever gets distracted by the crowd or their opponent, that's who's gonna lose, that's who's gonna get swallowed up. And I was like, oh, what is up with all this foreshadowing? I was just like, oh man, oh man. And sure enough, as soon as the match starts, Kurasuno isn't doing the best. Like, they're doing the best that they can, but they're not like at 100%. Especially our boy Kageyama. Out of everyone on the team, Kageyama is the one that is just not in the right mindset. He is just not there. Like, he's there, but not there, if that makes sense. He is not like 100% focused, and you can tell it's taking him a while to adjust and get used to it. And that's basically it with this episode. Like, we see Kageyama struggle a little bit. You can see like he's not throwing the way that he wants and tossing the way that he wants to, obviously. And it's kind of throwing Kurasuno in a rough spot, and it's just not looking good for them right now. Like, the tides are not in their favor right now. It's like Kageyama is trying his best. He's like, just give me a little bit of time and I'll get it. So that's all they can really do, is just wait for Kageyama to, you know, have it click in him and for him to finally give it his all, 100%. Not saying that he wasn't before, but like I said, his mind is just like not there. He's not entirely focused. It's just a lot to take in. So it really took a little bit for Kageyama to really get into the groove of things for this match, because the boy was struggling. Like, he was really trying hard to get it right, but he just couldn't for whatever reason. Like, it was just, I guess, a lot for him. He was trying really like his hardest, and I really like that my boy Yamaguchi got a little bit of spotlight for this episode. They bring him in because Coach Ukai thinks this is like the best thing, because right now they're kind of struggling. He's like, I need to bring someone out there to like help them like lift their spirits, bring the momentum up to them. And of course, Yamaguchi comes into the rescue. So before Yamaguchi like is up to serve, like, we get a little bit of a flashback with him to where Shimada basically tells him, you know, hey, if you're feeling a little bit afraid or panicky or nervous, like, just reset yourself and look at something that's familiar to you. And I was like, that's such a brilliant idea, and I like that because you can tell like it helps Yamaguchi so much. And basically the thing that helps Yamaguchi is just by looking at the exit sign. It's something familiar and something that he can always look like it will always be there. So he finds a relief in that, and like I said, it works. It resets him and his nerves are calm. He's good to go and right on. Like the first serve obviously wasn't perfect and it wasn't to where he wanted it to go, but it worked. It did the job. And then the second time that he does it, it goes to the direction that he wanted, and I could not be so proud of my boy Yamaguchi. Like, there's a moment where I think it was Coach Ukai was like, damn, like, when did he improve and like how in such a short amount of time? And I was like, that's my baby, that's my baby boy. He's doing a good job, man. Don't underestimate my boy Yamaguchi. He will come through when needed. And it was so nice. Like, my boy really did that, and and of course, this in fact does help the team and help them motivate them and help them reset too, because after this they're like on a roll, their things are going, it's looking good for them so far. And it's funny because Subara Kihara, like when they see Kageyama struggling, they're like, there's no way you guys are gonna do the quick, so let's focus on something else. And I like that Hinata was like, why? We're still gonna do it anyway. And this in turn baits them into thinking that they're immediately gonna go into their usual quick set, and that's not the case. And of course, like slowly but surely we start to see Kageyama like get on a roll, and then finally they're able to do the quick set, which let me tell you guys, like at the very few last minutes of this episode, holy shit, the animation, like the way that they animated this part was like so freaking cool. Like it goes into like this super black and white mode, you start seeing lines everywhere. Like it was so cool, you guys. Like I cannot stress that enough. Seeing that animated the way that it was those last few minutes, like I said, holy shit. Like if they're giving us this type of quality right now, can y'all imagine in July? Like, oh my gosh, these last few minutes, I cannot stress enough, got me really excited for what's to come next in July. Like the second core, I don't think I'm ready. So by the end of this episode, Kageyama is back in action and he is ready to go, you guys. He's ready. He's there. He's ready. And that's when they do like their usual quick attack, and it's just, it's insane. And seeing everyone at National see it for the first time themselves, like it's fantastic, it's great, it's amazing, 10 out of 10. Oh my gosh, can you guys believe we're only like 3 episodes away and then that's it? This is it for the first core? I mean, then we have to wait until July, and I'm like, I can't believe we have to wait until July, man, after this is over. Like, I cannot believe. And then next week's episode, obviously, we're gonna continue the match. We didn't get to see too much of the PV, and like I said, I can't really say much of what to expect because I can't remember. So this is all gonna be coming back to me as I see how this match ends up. Like I do know, obviously, like the end result of this match, but I just don't remember what exactly happens in this match. Because like I said, it's been 3 whole years since I read this in the manga, so my memory is a little bit fuzzy right now. But other than that, you guys, I think that's it regarding this week's episode of Haikyuu. That's all I really have to say. Lots of exciting stuff coming up that I hopefully by the end of this core I can talk about. But other than that, I hope you guys are excited. You anime onlys finally got to see the first match for this national tournament. Like, so exciting. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my ramblings while I did my makeup, and that is it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!